So this is a special GPS thing that they made for blind people. It'll tell you the direction you're walking. It tells you the nearby appointment. I got to school on the Monday, and then on Tuesday we got to test walk some dogs, and he was one of the dogs that I got to try out.
So you mentioned he's the grandson of your last dog. Is that partly why they suggested him for you?
Maybe.
Or it's just a coincidence?
It's just more a coincidence.
That's really, really special.
I mean, for the first 8 weeks, they're with their mothers, and then after they get weaned, they get sent to volunteer families who raise them and then train them with basic obedience skills like sit and stay and all that stuff. And then they also get them used to being in public and going to experiencing different experiences. So they're not too scared when they come back into the school for their training. And they're with their family for around a year or so. And once they come back to the school, they get tested to see if they'd be suitable for guide work. And around 80% of them fail the test to see how well they do with like sudden loud noises and bright lights. And then they put them on foreign objects to see how they handle going to going on escalators and whatnot. So, and then they see how well they do with obstacle courses. So they really test them pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, Mona would fail that miserably. She's really scared of beeping. So like any beeping by machines in a hospital or like a truck backing up, she freaks out.
Oh yeah. They also see how well they do with thunder, and then they set like sounds of fireworks and car backfiring sounds to see how they do with that. And then the final test, they blindfold the instructor and see how well the dog navigates them on a route. And then there's another instructor following along, grading the dog. They drive him to a certain place, and then they have him walk a couple blocks, get on a bus. They take the bus to a certain area, get off, and then go through a store. And then they have him go up and down a couple of flights of escalators, go through a couple of revolving doors. If the dog fails the guide work, they give him to school, to a program that will train police dogs. So they mainly do shepherds and labs. I mean, I wanted a German shepherd, but I'm okay with a lab. It shows people that he's a service dog. It actually has the school name on it, I think.
Yeah. Guiding Eye.
Yeah,
Yorkton Heights, New York. So the school makes these themselves.
Well, they have someone else make them, but they pay for them. The harness kind of gives like tactile feedback to where the dog's going, and then also it's a good way for us to like be more in tune with their emotions. If he's doing something he's not supposed to, I can just pull back on the handle and it'll stop him. The harness itself costs $800, but that's because they have a special chip in them, so people can't say this is my dog, and the chip matches the dog, the chip and the dog.
So the harness itself is $800, and how much does it cost to train a dog?
Or $50,000 or so.
Why is it so expensive? It's just like the training is so intensive.
Well, you have to think the school pays for the food, When they're being raised by the raiser, they pay for their veterinary costs. They pay for the genetics to make sure that they're the right temperament, because they breed them for a certain temperament.
People in need of a service dog don't pay for any of that, right?
Nope. And the school will pay for your veterinary costs as long as the dog is working. I've actually never met a lab with a wrinkled face like this.
Are you a $50,000 dog? Oh.
For the first time, when I got my first dog, they wanted a pretty extensive medical report on the person. Plus, they wanted a vision report from the eye doctor, because they won't take you if you have over a certain amount of vision. And sometimes it's harder for people to trust a dog when they have vision, because the dogs have a tendency of, when they're clearing obstacles, they only give you a few inches. And for someone who can see, I guess it can really scare them. You just have to learn to trust the dog and hope that the dog knows what he's doing. People would choose the horses because they're not for hypoallergenic reasons, and the fact that they live for a really long time. The thing with a dog is you can get maybe 6, 8, 10 years out of it before you have to retire them. And some people aren't just built for that because you get super attached to them. The thing is, you have to put a diaper on the horse because they can't hold their bowels and like the dog can. Plus, you have to feed it grass. And then another thing is you have to put shoes on them when you take them inside. Linoleum can really mess up the hooves. Another major problem with the horse is that they can't see stuff that's directly in front of them. They have great 350-degree vision for stuff that's to the side and behind them, but if you're coming up on something that's right in front of them and it like makes a loud noise, the horse can spook really easily. And just imagine a 150-pound horse getting upset and then running off. They have at least for some schools, they have an age limit. You have to be at least 16. I didn't think I was mature enough when I was 16, and I wanted to wait until at least I was in my 20s. Because you have to take care of it, you have to feed it, take it out like 5 or 6 times a day. Some teenagers aren't really equipped for that. There are some schools that will train guide dogs for kids. I guess the emotional support just is there to calm you down, and there is paperwork you can fill out to register your dog as one, but states like Maine and New York, they're really strict about that, and you have to have the dog's genetic history, and then you have to have it checked out by a licensed doctor.
Has any place ever told you can't bring Charlie in?
Yep. So, well, sorry, but we have to. If it's a place that services the public, then you have to allow service dogs. So if they really put up a complaint, then I call the school. They talk to them. Cool.